Hey loves, you're welcome back to the channel today. My name is Lady Peace. If you're coming across any of my videos, thank you so much for stopping by. Please hit on the subscribe button. So today's video is all about this dress you're seeing on the screen. So this is what I had after I was done making mine. You see how it came out. Sorry I didn't have the table to place this, so I had to place this on the floor so that you guys can see this clearly. So this is what I had and this is how mine looks. If you're interested in this kind of content, I will advise you stick to the video till the end and let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Please guys, don't forget to subscribe. It won't take anything from you. Just go ahead and subscribe, hit on that notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. As you all know, this is a sewing channel where I share everything related to sewing, pattern drafting, everything related to sewing. So go ahead and hit on the subscribe button and I'll see you guys. So let's just get into today's video.
So many times that I miss you. I know how to call when I want to. Now you got way bigger issues. You're running around like you're single. Slow down, only you the ginger, the whole town. Slow it sometime. Go out, mountain for your back, make it run wild. Slow it sometime.
So guys, these are the fabrics I'll be making use of. I have my organza and it's 1 yard, although I didn't use all of it. I didn't use up to even half yard. Yes, so this is how it looks and it's gold color because of the gold you have on the fabric. So this is the fabric here. So this is totally optional. You can decide to go with any color of your choice. Okay, so I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two this way. I made sure that what I have here is enough for me to draft on. So first I'm going to come in from this point by 3 inches for my client's neck width and also 3.5 inches for the neck depth. So I'll just use my curved rule and connect these points like this. After connecting this, the next thing I'm going to do, this chalk is not really clear, so I'll just make sure to make it bold. So I'll still place my tape from the center here and I will mark my client's shoulder. So her shoulder is 14 and that divided by 2 is 7. So I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll use my ruler and connect this to meet my neckline. So this is it. So after connecting it, I'll place this tape from the shoulder slope here and I'll come down by my client's armhole line. So it's 7 inches for her. So I'll just connect this point. Like I said, if you don't know how to calculate this, go ahead and divide your round bust by 6 and add 1.5 to it. So whatever you get becomes your armhole. So I divided what I have here by 2 and then I'll make a point here and I'll come in by 1/2 inch. So this way I'm trying to create her armhole here. So on the chest line here, this very point, I'm going to divide her bust by 4. So I'll divide her round bust by 4 and I'll make a point here. So after that, I'll use my curved rule and connect these 3 points together. First, I will use this ruler here and connect it and then use my curved rule to connect the rest. After connecting this point here, I'll just smoothen this area. The chalk I'm using is like the color is just like the material here, so that's why it's not really clear. So sorry about that. I'm going to take note of this next time. So I'm coming down by her hip. Shoulder to hip for her is 24. So I'll just connect this into a straight line like this. So after then, I'm going to come to her hip line here, and then I will divide her hip by 4, her round hip by 4. So when making this, go ahead and divide your round hip by 4, mark it here, and then instead of me connecting these points, you just see how I'll go about it. So don't connect it straight, so I'll just connect this in form of an A shape, because that's how the style for this dress is just like an A-shaped dress. So I'm going to come down by the length of her dress. So she wanted this dress to stop at 40 inches, so I went ahead to add 42 inches. When we are joining this together, I'll let you know why I added 42 inches. Now I'll be using lining for this dress, but it's totally optional. You can choose not to use lining for this, but she said she wanted me to add lining to it, so that was why I added that 2 inch. Because don't worry, when I'm stitching on it, I'm going to let you know. So you can see how I'm placing this ruler here. I'm not placing this ruler exactly on the hip, then where I marked my glance hips divided by 4. I'm not placing it there. I'm placing it about 1.5 inch away, like this. So this dress is an A-shaped dress. It's not free and it's not tight. It's not that free and it's not that tight. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. So please ignore this part. I was trying to create like a curve, but please, when you want to create a curve, don't come to the center. This is something I forgot, but later realized it. You're supposed to do it on the side, like where you have the opening of the folded edge. So not on the folded edge, just where you have the opening. So this is all. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out.
You're running around like you're single. Slow down, only you the ginger, the whole town. Slow it sometime. Go out, mountain for your back. Slow down, only you. Now you got way bigger issues. You're running around like you're single. Slow down, only you.
I'm done cutting this out. Let's go ahead and cut out the back. So this is my fabric here. It's still folded into 2 like this. So I went ahead to come in by 1.5 inches and make a straight line here. This line will serve as my zip, for my zip allowance. You can see what I'm doing. So from that line, I went ahead to place the center front like this, exactly on the line, just like this. So I'll place it. I'll make sure that this center front is on the line exactly like this. So when you place it like this, go ahead and pin it down so that it doesn't move when you are cutting this out. And remember, this 1.5 inch I came in by is for my zipper allowance. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and pin this out, and when I'm done, I will just go ahead, use my scissors to trace out everything just like we did for the front. But the only difference between the back and the front is the zipper allowance line here and also the neckline. So let's just go ahead and pin this in place.
People passing by, some smile back, some might not. I'm always looking for a shave when it's hot. I've been low key and I'm trying to stop. Goddamn feeling good.
So guys, after pinning this in place just like this, now I'm going to now take my back neckline. Okay, so just pay attention to what I'm doing here. So for the back neckline, I'm coming down by 2 inches this way. I'll connect it till it gets out of the zipper allowance line, and I make a point from this shoulder edge here, from my center front like this. I'll just connect it this way. So after connecting this, I will just go ahead and cut it out. When I was cutting the center front, I added about 1/2 inch to the shoulders. I didn't cut directly on the shoulder line. I added about half inch. I hope you can see my line there just like that. So I'll just go ahead and trace out every other thing here. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut out my pieces. I also went ahead to cut out lining pieces for each. So for the back, I had about 2 pieces, and for this down here, you can see I folded my fabric with about 2 inch before cutting on my actual lining. So this is how it looks. You can see. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the back pieces and work on the front pieces for now. So I'll just open this up this way. I'll open it like this, and then I'm going to now place my lining on it, right sides facing each other. So this is it. I'm going to place it like this. Place it right side facing each other, and then go ahead and align everything. Make sure everything is aligned correctly. So this is it. Now you can see that my lining is shorter than my actual fabric like this. So that's why I added 2 inch to it, to my fabric. So I'm going to now go ahead to my sewing machine and stitch this down, but I'm not going to be stitching on the shoulders. I'm not going to be stitching on the armhole. I'll just stitch on the neckline, and after then I'm going to make sure to align this like this and also stitch this part down. So this is what it looks like after I was done. So I also went ahead to stitch just my neckline. I didn't stitch on my actual fabric. I didn't stitch on my armhole, just like I said. So after I stitch, I also went ahead to stitch down this part. So you see how it's coming up like this. This is how it's supposed to be. When I iron it out, you will understand better. So I'm going to now go ahead and stitch on the side. Make sure you don't stitch on the armhole. So this is how it looks. So this is my front neckline. I also went ahead to notch all the necklines so that when I turn it, it will now relax. Remember, don't stitch on the armhole. So I'm going to now place my back pieces like this. I also went ahead to do same for the back pieces. I notched the neckline. I didn't stitch on the armhole. So this is the other pieces here. Like I said, I notched the neckline. I didn't stitch on the armhole. So I'm now going to turn this over to the right side, and I will give all the pieces a good press. So guys, this is it after I was done ironing it out. So you see how nicely this is looking. So this shoulder here, I'm going to now bring my back pieces like this and place it right side facing each other, just this way. So right now we are going to join the shoulders, but this is the method I want to use, because when I use this method, my shoulders comes out very beautiful. So I'm placing these shoulders together like this. Make sure that that point where you joined it is aligning with this other point. So when I open it up, I'm going to now place it again. Make sure this point aligns together like this. So when you pin it like this, now bring out this lining pieces like this and turn it over like this. Guys, this can be a little bit difficult, but it's actually worth it. So when you do this, you notice that your neckline, your shoulders comes out very neat when you do this part. So I'm going to make sure to align this in place like this and pin it down just like this. So in case you didn't understand what I'm doing here, I'm going to repeat same for this other side so that you understand it better. So you see, so this is it. When you stitch it down on this point here and then turn it to the right side, you see how beautiful it looks. So let's go ahead and do same thing for this other side. Please pay attention to this. So now this joining here, place them together like this with the joining you have for the back pieces like this. Make sure it aligns. Then turn the lining this way. Turn it this way and then pin it down. It's difficult, right? Don't worry, it's really worth it. Pin it down like this and then go over to your machine and stitch it down with half inch. Okay, so let's go ahead and stitch it down. So guys, I'm done stitching this down and this is how it looks. You see how beautiful it's looking. See how this other side is also looking. You see, when I turn it over, this is how it is. So that's why I had to do what I did, because it's actually worth it and it came out very nice. So I'm going to now turn this over right side facing each other like this. So turn it like this and align it in place. So guys, can you see the gown? Can you see how short my lining is and how the fabric is longer than the lining? So this is why I added 2 inches to my actual length, to the length of my for the dress, so that when I joined the lining is not going to be showing on and just the down part here. So this is why I added 2 inches. You see how nicely this is looking. So now let's go ahead and fix our zipper. So I'm just going to align everything, make sure that everything is well aligned, so that we can now fix our zipper. So this is a zip I want to use. I'm going to measure about 20 inches on this zip here and see where it stops. So it stops about somewhere here. So I'll now measure 20 inches on my fabric. So this is it. I'm going to measure 20 inches here, and then I will make a point wherever I have 20 inches. I'll just make a point here. So after then, this dress is going to be having a slit. So from this 20 inches point, I'm going to measure how long I want the slit to be. I think I measured about 8 inches for this. So that's how long I want it to be. So I'm going to connect these two lines like this. I'll go over to my machine and stitch this part. Guys, this is what I had after I was done fixing the zip. As you can see, please, when doing this, make sure to be careful when stitching this so that your fabric doesn't go into the zip like this and you find it difficult to take it up, just like mine here. I went ahead to loosen this up and then fix the zip again. You see how difficult it was to pass through this other part like this. Please be careful with it so that you don't pass through this stress here. So now this is what I had when I turned it over to the wrong side. So for the slits, I went ahead to iron gum stay on it so that it will stay in place like this. Please, I want to also apologize that you're not viewing this very well because I'm using my center table for this, and I promise you guys that I'm going to get a table as soon as possible for that. So for the slits part here, I have this slit I went ahead to draft. I already have on my channel how to draft a basic sleeve. Just in case you've not seen that, I'm going to be linking that on the comment section. So this is a basic sleeve I draft for this tutorial. Now this is what we are going to do. I'm going to measure in between these points to get the midpoint, like the center of this slit here, just to measure these parts like this and mark the center for this. So I had 5 inches and that divided by 2 is 2.5. So I'm going to repeat same for this other side like this. I'll mark 2.5 here, mark 2.5 here. This is to enable me get a straight line. So I'm going to mark this till it gets to the end, to the upper part here, just like what I'm doing here. Just go ahead and look at what I'm doing. After doing this, now I'm going to use my ruler to connect this line into a straight line, just like I told you guys. Guys, after this, I'm going to use my scissors to cut these parts through like this. I'll just cut it till you get to the top of this paper. We are trying to do slash and spread method. Just in case you don't know how to go about that, just concentrate on this part and see what I'm doing. Please, when you're doing this, make sure you don't cut this off entirely. Just cut about ½ inch away from the top. Don't cut it off totally. This is to enable us so that we can be able to slash or like spread it out on the fabric or whatever. So you see, please don't cut it off entirely. See what I'm doing here? Make sure it's about ½ inch away from this point here. So we are going to be spreading this out. I'm going to bring another pattern paper to this so that we can spray it out, because we're not going to be doing it directly on the fabric. So this is the pattern paper here. I'm going ahead to pin it down like this. Then I'm going to now spread this other part like this. Please concentrate. In case you don't know how to do this, I'm going to now pin down this other part as well so that it stays in place. Okay, so that when I'm spraying this out, it doesn't move. So guys, this is it. I'm now going to spray it out like this. So this also depends on what you want. You can decide to spray it out as which like in any other way you wish, but I don't want this sleeve to be too big. If you want yours to be that big, go ahead and spread it anyhow you want. So this is just how I want mine to be. I'm just going ahead to pin down this part here. So now you see, this is why we had to just cut off the other part. I'm going to use this curved rule now to just curve this part down like this so that it's not looking rough. So I've gone ahead to remove this needle just to place it well, because I felt it was too big. Like I said, this totally depends on how wide you want yours to be. So I don't want this to be too wide. That's why I'm just adjusting what I have in between this point here. So this is it. Hope you understand what we are doing here. I'm going to use this curved rule now to curve the down part like this, just to give it that nice shape, just like this. And after then, I'm just going to cut out every other thing. This is how it looks. You can see that it's bigger than the sleeve itself. So if you want yours to be bigger than this, go ahead and spread it out anyhow you want. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to now measure from the top here to about 8 inches down. So from here I'll place the tape here and mark about 8 inches here. So this is it. I'm going to make a point here and then use my ruler to connect this into a straight line. So we're going to be cutting off all the parts. So from this point here, I'll come down to about 2.5 inch. That's where I'm going to be using to cut out the organza. So I'm going to now mark it, and from that point there I'll come down to about 4 inches or 4.5 inches here. I'll make a point here and then connect it into a straight line just like this, And then after then, I'm going to still come down to, this time I think I'll be using about 3" for this. So that's where my organza is going to be. So I'll connect it like this. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark the points I'll be using for the organza, which is here and here. So these 2 points that I marked, I'll cut them on the organza, and the other parts I'll cut them on the Ankara fabric. So I'm going ahead to cut out the pieces. It's no longer 1, so I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here, 5 pieces. So these 2 here and these 3 here. So now this one is going to be for the organza, and this is going to be for the Ankara. So guys, one thing I didn't do, I forgot to show you guys when I cut out the organza. So here is the Ankara. I went ahead to place it like this. This is the same thing I did for the organza. Sorry, I didn't know, my camera didn't capture that part. This is the same thing I did for the organza. You know, the organza part is just 2. Yours can be 3, it can be 4, depending on how long you want your sleeve to be. So I'm going ahead to pin down this part as well, so that it doesn't move when I'm cutting on the fabric. So pin it down, and then I'm going to give about ½ inch on all the sides before cutting them out. That ½ inch is going to serve as the joining allowance, so that when we are joining it, there's allowance for the joining. So from here I give 1 inch. So when I'm cutting out, I'll give ½ inch to this part and ½ inch to the other part to join them together. Guys, so sorry, like I said, I didn't know my camera didn't capture all those parts. So this is what I did. Remember, the first place here is the Ankara, so I went ahead to stitch the organza after the Ankara, and then went again to stitch my Ankara again before the organza. That was just what I did. When doing this, make sure that when you place the Ankara first, the second one should be the organza, the third one should be Ankara, the fourth one should be organza. But whatever you are doing, make sure that the last place there should be your Ankara fabric, and the first place is Ankara fabric. So the organza should just be at the center. So I've gone ahead to iron this part. So here is the middle here. So I'm going to now join this part to the gown. So this point here, which is the shoulder, is going to be serving as the center for us here. And I'm going to place the center of this sleeve here like this, just like this. And then I'll go ahead and pin it down. I'm going to pin it down here like this. So you see, when I bring it to this point, you see that everything aligns together like this. One side is not bigger than one. So pin it down here. Pin it here, so you see everything aligns together. It's not bigger than the other side, and the other side not bigger than this other part. So go ahead and stitch down this part with ½ inch, and also this part as well. Then I'll do same for the other sleeve as well. Guys, so this is it after I was done joining it. So like I said, when you want to join those pieces together, see what I did here. My Ankara, then my organza, Ankara, organza, and Ankara at the last point there. So this is how you should do yours. So this is how mine came out. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to turn this over to the wrong side like this. So we are now going to go ahead and stitch down the side. So this time we are going to be stitching from the sleeves here. So this is it. I'll just go ahead and align this in place like this. So you see here the sleeve, I'm going to now go over to my sewing machine and then stitch down these parts like this, these areas like this, stitch it down, then come to the dress, stitch down till it gets to the end of this dress. Then I will do same for this other part as well. Guys, this is what I had after I was done making this dress. You see how beautiful this really came out. You see how nice it's looking. Although my sleeve length can be longer than yours can be longer than mine. In case you want it to be longer than this, it actually depends on you. So this is what I had after it was done. See how everything is looking. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, what are you still waiting for? Go ahead and hit on the subscribe button. Click on that notification bell so when I upload a new video, you'll be first to get notified. So on this channel, I share more of sewing tutorials and pattern drafting, everything related to sewing. So please follow me up and be a member of this sewing family. So thank you guys, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye.